We all know why we're here. We're here because our friend Josh Hlavka is running for the statehouse. This is a big deal. As we often say, but we really need to take it to heart. There is no higher calling than running for local office as a libertarian. You do it for no opportunity to even win in a race that is partisan. You do it for no opportunity for any sort of financial remuneration. You do it for no shot at personal aggrandizement. You do it without a party with a brand to back you up. You spend half your time just explaining what libertarianism is. Most of the people that you meet have a libertarian streak, but they cannot spell libertarianism. They don't know that there is such a thing as a libertarian party. And so it's up to local candidates to spread the message, and that's the only reason you do it. And we are grateful for people like Josh Hlavka who do it. This particular election cycle, I believe, is not going to be about small things. I believe it's going to be about big things. My favorite example is that it's not going to be about what should be the full retirement age for Social Security. It's going to be about who has the guts to say that recruiting youngsters into a pyramid scheme for the only reason to take care of the overhang of elderly people because we mismanaged the scheme from the get-go, that it was unethical and unconstitutional from the get-go. That is evil. Who has the guts to stand up and say it? Who has the guts to say the reason we need a different foreign policy is not merely because we get a crappy bang for our buck, whether you look at that in terms of foreign policy or subsidizing certain types of trade or our insanely high Defense Department budget. However you look at it, it's not merely that we get a crappy bang for the buck. It's that it is completely unethical. It does not reflect our values as Americans. And this is one of the big reasons I'm really excited about Josh running, because he's not a guy who's about small things. He's a guy who's about big things. And we all recognize, by the way, we have all recognized this about Josh from a hell of a long time ago. This race is not going to be about Josh. It's not going to be about me. And I hope this doesn't hurt anyone's feelings. It's not about you either. It's not about anybody in this room. This is about people whom we call brothers and sisters for no other reason than they are fellow Americans. It is up to us to stand up for the people least able to withstand the ridiculous force of the federal government, the state government, and local governments, who are trying to make good despite operating under an insanely counterproductive war on drugs. Layered on top of that, the world's most oppressive criminal justice system. Josh and I each know something about whereby which we speak. This is the reason that we need people like Josh to run. It's not about you or me, but in some sense, it is nonetheless about us. It is about us collectively. I have to end on this story because it makes me cry. When I told Josh, and what I want to highlight is what I view as the most important word in politics. When I told Josh that I wanted to run for president, I told him because I wanted his advice. I wanted him to tell me what he thought of the idea. And he said, basically, boiled down, not a bad idea. All in all, on balance, notwithstanding the fact that it's going to be a pain in the neck, a good idea. And this is what he said: we start now. The most powerful word in politics I have personally ever heard was when he used the word we. Look around at how many people are here. We're lucky to have this number of people. But you multiply that by the number of counties in Florida. You multiply that by 50 states. You're still not to a big number. It is up to us to pick up a shovel, as Larry Sharp, our friend, says. And not the kind that you use to dig your own grave, but the kind that you wield like a weapon. If you're waiting for a Republican to lead the charge back in the direction of the Constitution, don't make me finish that sentence. You're waiting for something that's not going to happen. if you're waiting for a Democrat, to stand up for your First Amendment rights, and which is a sad thing to say. When I was growing up, you could count on a Democrat to stand up for your First Amendment rights. Not so anymore. If you're waiting for a Republican to be fiscally conservative, if you're waiting for either party to stand up for the idea that you deserve a foreign policy that aligns with your personal values, you're waiting for something that's not going to happen. It is up to us. It's up to us and people like Josh Hlavka, libertarians, who are, after all, the philosophical descendants of the people that put this nation together, that wrote the Declaration of Independence, that put together the Constitution, and did so for only one damn good reason, and that's to protect our individual liberty. A lot of people have forgotten that along the way. But Americans have a libertarian streak. We just need to remind them what it is that they feel inside of themselves. They need to wake up, stop wasting their vote, and vote for their values, because their values align with ours. This is why I believe that this election is not going to be about small things. It's going to be about big things, and it's going to be about people who bring big ideas, and those people are like Josh Hlavka. Give it up for our friend, Josh Hlavka.
Mike, thank you for all of those very kind words.
I want to hear it.
Thank you. Once again, thank you for coming, fellow Floridians here. My name is Joshua Hlavka. It's an honor to stand here before you today as a candidate for Florida House in District 105, representing the Libertarian Party of Florida and representing the principles of liberty and individual freedoms here in our great state that it was founded upon. So, one of the key issues that I want to address here in Florida is the state gas tax. A lot of you guys remember not too long ago, Ron DeSantis, our fine, fair, illustrious governor, just decided he was going to suspend the gas tax. Floridians are being burdened right now with high fuel costs. It's affecting families, it's affecting businesses alike as well, and it's time for a change. If elected, I want to fight to end the state gas tax here. Day one, putting money back into Floridians' pockets here, putting money back into business owners' pockets, and helping stimulate the economy here in Southeast Florida. It also will be, more importantly, representing the principles of liberty and helping businesses thrive by reducing the financial strain that is improved by the government on us all. But that's not all. Our political system needs reform as well out here. Taxpayer-funded primaries, as you're well aware, are something that does happen with the Democrats and Republican parties here, and it's a significant problem for us. Why is it a significant problem? Because why should your hard-earned money be used to fund a process that only benefits the major parties? When over 4 million people are not registered to those major parties, over 4 million people, ladies and gentlemen, are registered as non-party affiliated or third party. That means less than 1/3 of Floridians that are registered to vote are being benefited by our taxpayer dollars going to help them select their most preferred candidate. How does that make sense? Make it make sense to me, ladies and gentlemen. If I'm elected, I will advocate for the elimination of taxpayer-funded primaries for the Republicans and the Democrats here in Florida that we all pay for with our hard-earned tax dollars, and we'll make sure that it is paid for privately by those party members who want to do all that. Now let's talk about another elephant in the room real quick here. Government spending. Everybody loves government spending, right? It's the best. $30 trillion, $31, $33 trillion. It might have gone up a few trillion since I started this speech, but our national debt's crazy, guys. The state budget has ballooned as well over the years. It's now at a historical high, and it's time to rein it in. I'm committing to cutting the overall spending and reducing the state budget here in Florida. We need government that operates efficiently, focusing on essential services and eliminating wasteful expenditures. Your tax dollars should be used wisely, not squandered on unnecessary bureaucracy. Florida has an opportunity to also lead the way on progressive issues. Now, I know progressive sounds like a dirty word, guys, but what I'm talking about here is recreational cannabis. It's time to end the outdated prohibition that only serves to criminalize responsible adults and clogs our criminal justice system that, as we've seen here in Florida, is abused heavily as we are one of the worst police states in the country. I will champion to bring recreational cannabis here to Florida, not only as a new business opportunity for Floridians, but also as a way to respect personal freedoms and individual rights. Last thing, property taxes, guys. I see some eyes rolling in the crowd here. Some of us are homeowners, we understand. Property taxes affect us all. Even if you're not owning, you're renting. Those property taxes get passed on to you as a renter. You've been renting recently, you've probably noticed over the last couple of years, every year when it comes time to renew your lease, your rent goes up, doesn't it? Why is that? Property taxes, they're skyrocketing right now here in Florida. I'm dedicated to fighting for lower property taxes and ensuring that families can afford to keep their homes and that businesses can thrive without the burden of exorbitant tax bills. Let's create an environment where property ownership is an achievable dream for Floridians and not a burden that leads to homelessness, destitution, and worst of all, people leaving the state of Florida because they can't live here anymore. We used to be an affordable state, somewhere that people could come to because they could talk about how the cost of living was better than where they came from. Now, I can't tell the difference between Long Island, New York, and Broward County, Florida, and that's scary to think about, ladies and gentlemen. In conclusion, this election is about reclaiming our individual liberties and restoring the principles that our great state was founded upon. It's about reducing the government's grip on your finances, your personal choices, and your ability to enjoy life and pursue happiness here in Florida. Together, we can end the state gas tax, reform our political system, cut our spending, bring recreational cannabis into Florida, and lower our property taxes for everyone. I'm here to be your voice, your advocate and representative for Florida House and District 105. Thank you, and let's embark on this journey for a freer, more prosperous Florida together.
Going once, going twice. $120 for the $20 bill. Very, very impressive.
Doubly autographed.
Double autograph, $20 bill. 115, second place, 115. Thank you, good job, by the way. We're at 30 for the pork rub. $30, 109. For 80, you can take home the glasses. Think it's only 40 each. Yeah, we're at 80. That makes more sense. 80 is a much more reasonable number.
There it is.
That's it. It's gone. All right, good job. Can we get to 116? Can we get to 116 for the glasses? Don't insult. Thank you. We're at 116. That's a more reasonable number. All right, we're done at 120. We're done at $93. Excellent purchase.